Hello, and welcome back. Okay, it's time. It's time to go to the island and get the show on the road to its conclusion. I did want to revisit the graffito here, and I wanted to check with Cindy the Skull first before we do anything with it ourselves, to see if she has anything to say about it. Now, if I remember correctly, I can find her up here. Which it does not appear that she is there. Maybe she's like inside. What is this? Oh, there's cash. There's just cash everywhere. Okay, so perhaps she is upstairs. Balcony, this one. I think it was in here. If I remember correctly, this is like where she was living. And yeah, I mean, Cindy the Skull, she was like one of the first characters I encountered, and I was very illiterate, more so than I am now, on this game and its themes and what it was trying to do with things. And I feel like I never got the chance to really revisit Cindy comprehensively. And it kind of seems like I don't get the chance to, unless she can be found elsewhere. But I was thinking about it, and yeah, this graffito, I mean, to me, like, I thought it would be irresponsible to light it on fire, but the more I've been thinking about it, and Cindy, it seems that she is trying to honor the people who have the same lived experience of her in Martinez. And perhaps that was her intention. So maybe Harry would.
Has been painted over the traces of the fight that took place here. It smells of blood and heavy fuel oil.
Now that we've sort of like done our sad tour around Martinez and realized that not much has changed since we got here, and that is actually something that heals our soul slightly, because it means we didn't mess it up.
This was Cindy the Skull.
Perhaps we have a little more maturity and understanding of what something like this means, and that we can align with some kind of contribution to this world in artistic expression. So let's light it up.
The fuel oil catches fire immediately with an ominous hiss. A bright orange flash across the surface of the letters. Black smoke rises from the burning message.
Disco Elysium.
The lieutenant has taken a small step back. He looks at your face illuminated by the flames and nods silently. Then the fire falters. The flames warmed him too. Not at all in a bad way.
This is healing.
Let's go to that island.
Let's do it.
Slowly, the flames subside, the fuel burning out. The air still smells of mazout and springtime.
Okay, that actually was worth it. I agree, Kim. Let's go to the island. In a somber way, bittersweetly, I'm ready to say goodbye to Martinez. Both in my roleplay and in real life. But at the same time, I have a deep attachment to it. Spending literally over a year here of my actual living life. But it's time. It's time to set off on a different adventure, or adventures, and see this thing out. I believe it was Lillian who was going to help us with the boat.
Officer Harry, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
I do. I feel terrible.
She sounds almost disappointed with you, reprimanding you for falling and hurting your knee.
You seem angry. Why? I think Harry's like, he's going to struggle with that kind of empathy that like I'm disappointed in you because I care so much about you. Like, maybe he doesn't understand that. And I have to play that out for the roleplay.
Look at you. You can barely walk.
Some people hurt me.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
Kim always knows how to stay cool.
You didn't only get shot.
Ooh, but I could also see Harry, like, now that he has detected genuine sympathy for him, kind of enjoying that attention. I dodged the second shot. I can also get not shot. You should see the other guys. They're all dead. Yeah, I think he would maybe play up the danger factor.
So you're a killer? That's good, I guess. I guess. Better than being dead.
Well, maybe not the intended message we wanted to get across, but yeah, I think that that's part of the fate we have to accept. I'm not a killer. I'm a cop.
Hi. I guess you are. I understand that's how it goes.
Ah, the pain. The pain of seeing that, like, who we are fundamentally makes us incompatible with some people, if not most people. But I do think it's realistic for Harry to cling to that, like, that I am a cop and that does define me more so than it is just my job. But it's the only clear piece of continuity from our past life that we've, like, had an active hand in shaping. And he's probably pretty attached to that. I dodged the second shot. I can also not get shot.
Well, good for you.
I have a question for you.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
We need to get to that island.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Can we borrow your boat? What's on the island? I saw some kind of ruins through my binoculars.
Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Okay.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
You haven't been there yourself, but who has?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me.
Ooh, and maybe some of the, like, sad, distant disappointment in Lillian's voice when we told her we're a cop that also kills people is because it does remind her of her husband, who was also an alcoholic. She may also be reflecting on, like, I guess the tragedy of who she tends to be magnetized to, whether that be her husband or Harry. This kind of, like, dysfunctional type of person that she can't help but love, but also be terrified of. She's such a complex and sad character, as is everyone.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not to, but they bring back old bullet casings and such.
But that's also what makes her a very strong character. Which kids?
The twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place before we go? Would that be alright?
Be my guest. They've a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. I seldom do.
Okay. Is there anything I should know about getting there?
Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side. Water's deep there.
Okay.
Aye, aye, Captain.
2 days of sunshine. I just got a bacterial infection.
I'm sad to hear that. Take care of that with ether, will you? Don't get too many RCM men round here. Be sad to lose the first one.
That's cool. you boasting your bacterial infection like that?
I knew it. I knew there was a part of Harry, and of course it's this one. The, like, maybe insecure masculine side of him that's like, I gotta play this up for the sympathy. I don't get much of that. Interesting. Can I borrow your boat?
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. And no joyriding either.
There'll be no drinking, no joyriding.
Of course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
That's right.
Aye.
I'm gonna give one of those attentive nods.
The crow's feet disappear from the corners of her eyes as she smiles at you.
Beautiful, beautiful writing there. Thank you. We'll use your skiff to get there then.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Okay, seeing you. All right. Let's go chat with the kiddos before we embark.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Okay, kids. You've been to that island, right?
On that island?
The one who's busy kicking his stone points to the bay. Yes, that one. I need to know what's there.
That's, nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there. It's great. And we make a fire. We make a fire. Mm-hmm. Gather the sticks for the fire. And bullets. Or not real bullets, empty bullets.
Oh my god. It's so depressing. What
The
then?
lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Your nerve endings sting from the mention of a guy. They must mean a human being on that island, but it's cut off.
Does someone live there?
No. Yes.
Let's go with yes.
The lieutenant raises his eyebrows and whips out his notebook. Why is he the fire guy?
Because he asks to put the fire out.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like people to be there. You shouldn't go. Yes.
The other one adds laconically, standing with his hands glued to his sides like a little tin soldier. Okay, so there's some strange man on the island. You mentioned something about lights.
I don't know.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Yes.
Is there anything else you can tell me about this guy? His age? Does he live there?
No, he doesn't live there. I don't think. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What does
Okay.
this guy look like?
I don't know.
How come?
We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there.
As you should. You should run from the strange man. Your father used to go to that island, didn't he?
Our father killed himself.
What?
Don't say that, he didn't.
His brother punches him. The boy's eyes well up like he's about to start crying. I don't even know what to say. What?
I'm sorry.
Man. I'm starting to think about that youth center that Everard wants to build here. I mean, the idea that like the kids are playing around with bullet casings and that these are the things that are populating their world is like so depressing. But like a child's like priorities are mostly just to have fun and understand. Like before we become adults and our ideas get a lot more complicated about the world, like they try to understand things and they try to have fun. And this info about their dad, like that is way too young to be faced with like trying to understand that. Even just to try to understand why your dad's not here, like why he's not alive. That's tough enough, but the idea that he like, man, no child should have to be thinking about that. Is that all you know? Is there anything more you can tell me about the island?
There's
The boy says, rubbing his eyes. It's clear that he has no intention of finishing the sentence.
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
Okay. Is little Lily your sister?
yes,
Yes?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. What about little Lily? Does she have any new dialogue for us?
Is that the phasmid? It looks like the phasmid, leaning against the wall.
What?
Wait, what if this is the fishing rod situation all over again?
I'm not going to be fooled again. No, I'm going to try to sneak up on it.
It's not the phasmid. It's not even organic. It's a fire iron. How
God damn it.
disappointing.
This is what I get for trying to be a scientist instead of a cop. I'm not even a good
You're
cop.
just following your instincts, your destiny. You're meant to find the phasmid. Just maybe not here.
God damn it. Give it a rest. Okay.
Mister, what were you doing in my fireplace?
There was a phasmid in it. I was trying to catch it.
Oh, okay. Bye.
If nothing else, I like the idea that I'm just here to amuse these kids. All right. It's actually time to go. Let's get into the skiff and make our way to the island. Who knows if we'll be back? And if we ever are, it might be a changed man. Or the world might change.
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back floats on the calm mirror of the sea. Its 2 seats are empty.
Are you ready for this adventure, Hobbs?
Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. A strange trepidation comes over you. Are you sure you want to go now?
Gravely sure.
Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts?
Yes.
Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
The one thing I'm going to do, and I'll just cut away, is I'm going to top up my mag. I'm going to go spend some of this cash. All right. You take the engine, Kim. I'll hold the boombox. No. We said that we wouldn't be rocking and rolling here. I respect Lillian. And it's time to be cool and composed. Let's just get in. Let's be cool about it. Damn. Couldn't help himself.
Want to be free. Want to be free. It will last forever. Eternally. Want to
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then there's silence.
I feel like I just contemplated my whole life in that little boat ride. Just my whole life in Elysium. I love that little sequence. Just gave me some time to think about like this whole playthrough and how much time I've spent on it and how much emotion I've invested.
In the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance.
And how ready I am to be here near the end of it.
There is very little wind here today. The ghost is standing still. You look at your arms, then the cliffs above you. Let's go.
Let's do it. Oh. Got some cat activity going on as well. Hi there. Hello. Makeshift bridge. The bombs were powerful enough to break the foundation. These stairs feel ancient. Soldiers' feet ran up them long ago. Attention. Inflammable.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the sea.
What is that flutter?
The flock of quail departs, now more than 100 meters away, 102, 105.
Underneath the flutter.
On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, long dried leaves chafing against each other. The great ghost of the air is holding its breath.
Kim.
Yes?
This is where a lesser man would stop to think about the pain shooting up his right leg and into his groin. Not you. You're concentrated on how.
Have you noticed how quiet it is?
I have. Is that why we're stopping?
Wait. I have to listen to one more thing.
The lieutenant nods in silence.
To the west.
A silent hiss. Sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree.
To the east.
The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand. The low tide filtered through its grains. A bird tending to its feathers.
Ahead.
A low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. A big building. Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless.
What about below the silence?
Col de Mamadakwa.
What?
We are way out now. Way out in the west.
Open your eyes. Could it be? The Mamadakwa is here. Stairs are gone. Okay, looks like we're going into this building here. Everything is kind of collapsed. Fantastique. A rangefinder.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
Let's give him a sift through.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic Animal Adventures,
Ooh, is that like a Calvin and Hobbes type story?
among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories. You find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Someone's made themselves a home.
Damn. 3%er. And it would even be lower if I didn't have like some minor interactions with communist ideas. Fuck it. Let's give it a shot.
Not that you can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Fittingly right next to the radiola on the floor.
Nothing out of the ordinary?
It's old-fashioned. There's a nude mag. More than that, you can't say.
Yeah. Largely imperceptive to our Harry.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft-cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
How recently?
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses, no longer able to hear yourself speak.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
That's very nice of you, Kim. Yeah, he's really being quite considerate of our injury. Also, considering he's the one who patched us up, I think it would be wise to listen to the doctor's orders. In this case, that being Dr. Kitsuragi. I could go for a nap.
You face the concrete wall. There's less light there, in the dark corner. Like a dog, you lie there. You didn't realize how tired you were. Your body is still nowhere near healed.
Curl up with your knees close to your chest.
The blanket feels cold. The entire room does. Concrete and cold. Minutes pass. Half an hour maybe. The sounds of the sea beyond grow distant. Your eyelids close until you feel yourself standing up in the darkness, right next to the mattress. Slowly, the world begins to hatch from the blackness. It's evening.
I love that turn of phrase. The world begins to hatch from the darkness.
Sleep.
Harry? You okay, Harry? Are we in some sort of dream state? I mean, it's pretty cool that we get to take the flashlight and the Cavalsund with us. The lieutenant is no longer here. Go outside to the beach. Would that be this way? Go down to the chain. There's something there. Walk into the water. Now. You see her footprints on the water. What is happening? Over there.
Dolores Day, the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state turns around to face you. She has an airship airbag in her hand. She seems to be in a hurry.
Oh my god, it won't even let me point my flashlight at her. That's a sign that I am not in control. I'm powerless here. That's how I dominate the conversation. And it seems like we're incapable of that here. I feel feeble.
Okay, Don't say you need to talk right away. Melt the ice first. This way you're already talking. But you don't even want to talk to her. She would only be cold and mean. Let her go.
Does Dolores Day somehow represent like the magnified archetype of a woman figure who is like in control of our lives and emotions? Like, as someone who led, well, it sounds like from the stuff that we heard about, not so much led, but dictated the boundaries of culture and etiquette and understanding, and was someone who was in control of the general like structure and ideas about life. Does she perhaps represent something like that for Harry, who may have felt like his ex-wife was a similar figure? I think for someone like Harry, I could see the idea coming to him that loving someone is the most disempowering thing that you can experience, because when you care unconditionally about someone, they are so involved in how you feel about things that if they ever say no or want space or want to end things, you're basically giving away your entire self to them. And so that may poison the idea of love in general for him. That being in love is like the ultimate act of disempowerment somehow. Maybe he's afraid of love, and perhaps afraid of most emotions. Where are you going?
I'm going to Morova, to live there in Grad. It's 1 million kilometers away, Harry. Might as well be another lifetime.
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, that's all I get? Yeah, there is. There is some kind of like deep attachment to like how much I've invested in someone, like emotionally. And I can't necessarily control whether they reinvest the same amount to me.
I mean, hey to you too?
This has got to be the most emotionally crippling thing to Harry. This is just like the telephone scene. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good, actually. Both professionally and romantically. I've come to a fulfilling and peaceful period in my life. Well, how are you doing, Harry?
And we know that we're not a part of that professional and romantic piece. I'm not doing very well.
Don't say that. I know this positive thing sounds stupid to you, Harry, but it works. We all have an obligation to be happy. You too. And you will be. Now.
No. For Harry, that's... What a complicated thing to feel like I'm not in control of this very strong, passionate feeling that I have, like a love for someone. And the fact that I love them makes me powerless to the fact that things they do and things they choose determine how I feel, whether I'm a part of their life or not. And to be told that, like, I can be happy without you. I can't.
This is everything I always warned you about.
Oh, is now the time? Is now the time for Inland Empire to say, I told you so? No, I've been determined to let Harry visit this. I knew it would be psychologically damaging, but it is one of the central ideas to moving forward for him. That loving things is not always going to do you harm. And learning to accept things you can't change, especially other people. It's one of the reasons why he tried to drive his fucking car into the river. Is the inability to move on. To accept that probably the most important thing in his life is not something he gets full decision making over. And that the decisions he did make are probably what drove them away. Something is off.
I'm sorry. I was heading to the aerodrome. I just don't have time to...
She stops mid-sentence, glances to her right, then looks at her back.
She means she doesn't have time to tend to your emotions.
Oh, no! I knew it! Oh, it is there. But I've given them to you. I've given them all to you. I don't give my emotions to anything, but I've given them to this one person. This is actually kind of hard for me to read that. I'm actually just realizing now how close this is to something I've felt in my own life. Four years ago, I was living in the Netherlands where, I was trying to spend the rest of my life. And I was in a serious relationship with someone, and we were separated by COVID, basically. She went home to her home country. And I wasn't ready to leave the Netherlands, but the relationship was important enough to me that I was willing to move to where she lived. And so I invested everything into that. I closed down my private practice. I sent all of my belongings to her. Said goodbye to all my friends. Said goodbye to the place that I had spent the last 8 years building my life and that I'd become very emotionally attached to. And I was committed. I was committed to compromising all of those things for this person. And I think it was one of the worst moments of my life still. Before I moved to where she was, I was going to stop home in America and see my family, who I hadn't seen in a number of years. And so I sent her my belongings, and the night before I got on my plane, I was in a really rough spot emotionally. I had just given up everything for, this future that I was excited about but unsure of, and for this relationship that meant a lot to me, meant everything. And there I am sitting in my apartment, a completely empty room, because everything was already gone. And it was the most lonely I'd ever felt. And I really needed some reassurance that this was all going to work, because I was putting the most important thing, the thing that I had fought for so hard to really establish my life in Europe permanently. And when I tried to talk to her that night, she said, I don't have time for this. Everything that I was feeling seemed like a lot of pressure on her, that she needed some space from, that she didn't have time for, to listen to what I was feeling for any of it. And I have never, ever felt so worthless than that moment. And it's actually, I'm actually having a hard time talking about it, because I don't think about this very much anymore. That was my last day ever in the Netherlands, in Europe even, because things didn't work out from there. That was the moment, basically, where I could tell things were over, because I got on that plane and I went to America, and when I landed, she broke things off. And I had just dismantled everything. I just dismantled my entire life, closed my practice, told all of my clients that we would discontinue therapy. I had plans to open that practice again and resume with them. That didn't happen. All of my possessions went to a different country, and I never saw them again. And I landed in America, thankfully, in the safety net of my parents, who supported me through this. But it felt like my entire life was over, because in practicality, it was. Because I come to America and, like, I don't have a license to practice therapy in America 4 years ago. I didn't have a career ahead of me. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any belongings except for the, like, handful of clothes that I had taken with me. I didn't have a relationship anymore, and I didn't have any direction. And that was a scary time. You know, I basically spent the next year completely in the unknown of what was I going to do with my life, and who was I even anymore? Because I just, invested everything into something that went nowhere, and I had nothing to show for it. And I eventually made my peace with that. That the end of that relationship doesn't still hurt, like, romantically. I also don't have a lot of negative feelings towards her anymore. I've actually come to have a lot of understanding and acceptance that, like, the vision I originally had of why things didn't work out was just that, exactly like it says here, she just didn't have time for it anymore. And that because she was living in her home country, it wasn't really like such a big change to just break up with me. She would just go on living in a place that she was comfortable in, but I had just given up my whole life, and there was no reversing that. I can't just go back to Europe. I'm not a citizen there. And so when I heard this, almost exactly in these terms, that was the end of my life, like, to that point. It was the end of the life that I had built for the last 8 years. It was over. And I never got it back. I still haven't gotten it back. I actually had to take a completely different direction. And that was 4 years ago now. I had to make my peace with starting anew in a country that I had done my best to move away from. And I've done a fucking good job at that, actually. I've done a very good job at that. To go from feeling like I had absolutely nothing left of value in my life to having to create value out of it with a completely different set of circumstances than I thought I could or even wanted to build it with. I'm doing well with that. I really have. In fact, I'm doing better with my life right now than I would have even if everything had worked out with that relationship. And I can say that with full confidence. But that doesn't make it, like, less painful that I had to go through it. And yeah, like I said, I've been over the relationship for a long time. I don't resent her for it. I think she had to make an equally hard choice. I just wish she would have made it and told me about it sooner before I had unwound my life. But I don't resent her for it. But I do still have a lot of pain about everything in my life changing around that decision. And you know, if you've come to this channel at the beginning of this series, sometimes I catch myself watching, you know, some older videos, and I have a hard time watching the beginning of this Disco Elysium series specifically because that was like the beginning of me still trying to figure out like the rest of who I was going to be going forward. This series is a year old now, and like I said, it was 4 years ago since that event, but truly the first year I spent just kind of getting myself out of the paralysis of depression. The second year I spent trying to pick a new direction and just getting my career restarted. The third year I spent kind of stabilizing that, and that's when I started this series. And I think that there was still a lot of immaturity to work out. And I noticed, like, when I watch those old videos, I'm so intense, like, especially near the beginning. I find it really off-putting when I see that, because I just still wasn't like happy. I still hadn't figured out how to like make this all work, like this new direction in life. Like, it was going okay, it was heading in the right direction, but it's really only been in the last year that I'm not just like okay with it, but I'm actually, I like it, you know? And I didn't think that was even possible 4 years ago. But that's why it's kind of hard. You know, I've definitely changed a lot in no small part to going on this adventure, but it's rough. It's a rough chapter of my life that I didn't realize I was exposing the world to. And so like that's why it's hard for me to watch, because I don't identify with much of the personality traits that I had when I started this series. You know, I felt like having lost all of my confidence, like I was no longer a therapist. My girlfriend, you know, broke up with me. I was no longer like a fake European that I always wanted to be. Now I was just another American, and I had summarily failed at all of the things that were important to me. And so like it was my way of compensating. Like, if I'm more intense, if I'm more confident, if I'm more like loud in my opinions, then that must mean I like am really strong in character. And I just see it as the opposite now. But I needed to go through that period. I really did. And I need to have that period still to reflect on, to remind me of like what it is not supposed to look like, what confidence is not supposed to look like. I find that the more confident I am now in my life, like the less intense I feel about a lot of things. I was just really insecure about like, you know, this whole talking about politics and stuff. Like, man, do I have a lot of worries about people not liking me and ruining another thing. Like, oh, my channel started to be successful, I'm gonna fucking ruin it. Like, everyone's gonna hate me because I did or didn't talk about this thing. Or I did talk about it and people don't like what I have to say. Like, that stuff like it reminds me of all of this. And it's like really hard to, that's why I try to land somewhere neutrally with stuff, because it's a fucking terrifying thing to build something up and then like see it all go away again. I don't want to do that. But I'm also not as afraid of that anymore, because I've also shown myself that like, if you mess something up, you can fix it, you know? I've made plenty of mistakes in the playthrough, but just in life in the last couple of years, and I've become more comfortable with like owning them, and I've gotten more mistakes in my life that I haven't had the opportunity to own up to yet. You know, like who I was before this last year, I have a lot of empathy for who I needed to be to get to where I am, but I'm not happy with a lot of my choices and a lot of the behaviors and personality that I had that, you know, I try to do a lot of active work to move away from. But I'm glad I'm doing it, because neither my life or the person I am are something that I'm like completely happy with, but I am at peace with now. I've learned to be, at least. Learned to look for that. And I guess one of the most important things I've learned is that I never want to feel this way again, that someone else has so much power over how I feel. And I don't want to learn the wrong lesson from that. Like, okay, let me close myself off to any kind of affection or love, because giving it away like that means I'm trapped in someone else's decision on whether or not they return the affection. I don't want to learn that lesson. But I do take more responsibility for my own emotions, that they are not something that need to be attended to by someone else. That's something that in some of my like attempts to mature has been really a priority, that these are my responsibility, how I feel about things. That doesn't mean don't share them with people. It doesn't mean close yourself off to people, but this is my stuff to endure. But yeah, this is like the most seen I have felt by this game, or maybe any game, in quite a long time. And I know that Harry's not at the point I'm at, because like I said, it's taken me some years to start the repairing of that feeling. So I imagine he, like I did, is feeling quite a lot of rejection from it. You don't have time to tend to my emotions.
She sighs and looks over her shoulder.
What are you doing? Stop saying things like that.
What's in the bag?
Just my scepter, my globe cruciger, a spare silk gown, a toothbrush, travel documents, the crown of immortality.
Crown of immortality. Aren't you already wearing one?
Oh, this.
She corrects the wreath on her forehead.
This is just a wreath. The crown of immortality is made of rarefied light, mana and raw palladium. It was passed on to me by the rulers of late antiquity.
She looks at the suitcase, not knowing what more to say. Then, over her shoulder, silence. Her nuptial gown flows in the wind, wraps around her holy body.
Anyway,
And this is one of the hardest parts of a moment like this, is like at the same time you feel rejected and so angry at this person, you still have a lot of affection for them. Skin is holy and soft.
no, Harry. It's just regular skin. I'm not as beautiful as you always thought I was. Let's not get into.
Yes, you are. None of the others are as beautiful as you. Yeah. Like he's invested everything. It's hard to let go of that attachment.
She does not answer. There's that expression again.
Oh, and I did the same thing. I tried to like reignite some of that affection by reminding this person of what we had, and similarly here, all it did was drive them further away.
Silence. A distant wind blows. You can't think of anything pretty to say.
Can you stay for a moment? We need to talk. We need to have one more massive, epic showdown.
No, Harry. No. I don't want a massive, epic showdown. I want to go to the aerodrome. I have tickets for the 10:20 flight to Morova. Really, we don't have anything to talk about anymore. Every combination of words has been played out. The atoms don't form us anymore. Us. Our love. Our unborn daughters. It's all gone. I have to go to the aerodrome. I have to leave Revachol and you. And you have to be alone. In hell. Forever. That's just the way it is.
Oh God, whatever you do, don't try to kiss her yet. Not after that. You're still reeling. You'll fall over if you try now.
That's not a very good way for things to be.
It's not. But
But what? Tell me there's something good.
I don't know why I said but. There is no but.
That's it?
That's it, yes. We've talked about it a million times. You will get over it, just like I did. People do. Things will get good for you again.
You know, I heard something similar as well. And it's true. Like I said, things have gotten good for me again. But not naturally. It's come from a lot of hard work. And so while this is true, it's like hard to hear that because that makes it sound easy. Like you just have to wait for them to get good again.
Where in hell? Stop. You're only making it worse for him. You never help with anything.
Oh, fuck, they're fighting again. Ah, that's not a good sign. Good for me where? In fucking hell?
Oh yes, she'll come around now. I made her love you again, Harry. Are you stupid? She's about to say something. Here it comes. She's starting to love him again. Her innocence, Dolores Day, fiddles with the handle of her airport bag. She has a pained expression on her face. It's agonizing.
Man, rhetoric is compromised.
See? She doesn't say anything. I don't understand. It was, she herself said.
We were bad for each other, okay? I was bad for you. Can you not see? I'm bad. I had to stop. I couldn't just turn into a bad person. You will get better. It just takes some time. For you, I think it will take something like 20 years, maybe? It was hard for me too, you know? I used to think I couldn't live without you.
She looks at you straight in the eye. Her irises are light blue, flecked with green.
But I can.
She keeps her shoulders squared and her back straight. But it's clear you're still making her sad. It's not. It's just not possible. It's like eating rocks. You just can't do it.
20 years, that's so much time.
Yes. It only took me 1 year, maybe 2. Phew.
Ah, this is way too close to home. And yeah, I like Harry grasped out for anything like this. So you felt that way once, that you can't live without me.
Yes. But that time is gone now. So very gone.
With all my strength, I can't. It's like eating rocks.
There is a silence. She looks at you, then over her shoulder, then corrects the wreath on the dome of her forehead. As you talk, it feels like chewing on gravel. Granite, steel bars.
I'm sorry I made you sad.
It's okay.
Maybe we could try again. I certainly tried that.
No, Harry. We can't.
Why?
We already tried again, and it didn't work.
Let's try building communism twice. If it doesn't work, let's abandon it and be slaves forever instead. What went wrong when we tried again? I can do it better.
I don't know. Please.
She shuffles from one golden, sandaled foot to the other. In the distance, a streetcar screeches. Why can't we be together?
Harry, we can't be together because you're insane.
Her eyes turn to sorrowful ovals.
She avoids turning them to you.
I'm not insane, don't say that.
They're turning moist now. Her eyes. She slowly shakes her head and tries to get hold of herself, brushing her hands in her gown.
I brought you this figurine of a faun rider, and we were told to give it to her.
I don't want it. It looks expensive. I don't want it.
I thought you liked figurines. I thought the figurines were for getting you back.
That's not what figurines do, Harry.
And they don't do anything.
She looks at the headless faun rider between your fingers and doesn't know what to say. The figurines don't do anything? Anything at all? But I thought the historic figure she had.
Yeah, just the complete scouring for anything that you think will make a difference. But look, her mind's made up, Harry. You can't save this. Forget it.
Okay, sorry, I was naive. Stop listening to me forever.
What about the dice?
Harry, I don't want things. I want to go to the aerodrome.
Okay, I won't give you things then.
I didn't ask for things. It's too late to give me anything. I would have liked the headless faun rider back then.
I get the feeling you're not really Dolores Day.
I don't know what you mean. Dolores Day?
She looks at you quizzically. It does not seem like a mystery she wants to get into. I've heard you before. You're the voice on the phone.
Oh, Harry, you shouldn't have done that.
She shakes her head very slowly, her white hair brushing her shoulders. Do what?
Call me like that.
You ruined it. There was still a chance. You should have waited longer. She would have called you instead.
And the like turning on the self of all of the voices is so accurate too. Like when you can't come up with an answer and they won't give you one, she won't give you one, other than it's too late. All of your like mental states will chime in to say why you're such a fucking failure to her. Your timing was wrong. If only you had left for her country earlier. Man, my head did the circuit of reasons for why. And, I've also, that's part of the reason I am at peace with it, because I don't think there's a single reason. I think being split up by COVID did some damage to, immediacy, connection, that sort of thing. And, like I said, for her to just continue on in her life in a country that she was familiar with and had her family there. I don't think at the last second she felt that I could just sort of slot into that, which is for me, it was like, I'm just moving to another country. I've done that before. This would be something new. But I think maybe she thought that she can't take me home with her after all. Like I said, I just wish she would have told me earlier. And not to make it sound like otherwise I was the best partner in the world. Like I said, I've done a lot more maturing more recently. I don't know. I don't know if I was as good of a partner as I could have been. I know. You would have called me yourself if I just let you. I was too impatient. So I know.
Oh, Harry, do you really think so? We haven't talked in years. I don't want to call you. I don't want to hear from you. I think of you less and less every year. Weeks go by without me remembering you.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have remembered any of this shit, really, unless this game brought it up.
Months already. Soon it will be years. Every season that passes, the light gets less clear. I sit there in Morova, in the holy gratitude of my bliss. I put my hand on my belly and smile.
Yeah, like I said, it's quite some years now, and I don't think about the person anymore either. But I do think about the fact that I don't live in the country that I used to live in. Like, that's kind of hard not to be reminded of every single day that I'm not living there. So, like, that's, yeah, a little bit harder to move on from.
The air gets cold around you. She looks down on her stomach, then up at you. Her eyes are full of tremendous distance and mystery.
Eyes full of distance. Yeah, that's way too fucking real. Yeah, like at this point, I feel strongly that I mourn the life that I had more so than the relationship that ended it. Like, that was just the start of all of the other stuff.
Black-eyed dogs wander the alleys. Apple trees hang their bony limbs low over the patchwork of roofs. Red and black. Revachol West, the evening sun. She's left and bloomed, far away from us, our vast soul.
There's no way.
It's Dora. That's what the voice said on the phone.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes of this playthrough and why these checks keep working out the way they keep working out. I think it's like just the puppet master of this game, whoever's working in the background, the algorithm that determines these things and the dice rolls, wants to enact the most pain possible. That's all it cares about. Dora is short for Dolores. Oh my god, of course.
Dubois, yes. Dora Dubois.
That's why I think of Dolores Day.
Why what?
Are you Dora Dubois?
Oh, no. No. We're not doing that again.
You're the X something.
Wasn't I Dolores Day just a second ago? Now I'm the X thing? You're confusing me. Look, I have to be at the Lausanne Aerodrome at 10:20 p.m. I still have a light rail to catch. I haven't even bought the tickets yet.
We all told you. Everyone warned you.
Who, everyone?
Everyone.
Oh, shit.
Literally all of you.
If these two are here, things are bad. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I'm getting so much closure. I have gotten my closure by like changing my life around and reevaluating all of the decisions I made, and trying to adjust my personality even, but that was not instant. I think if I had this kind of opportunity, I don't think I would take it. I don't need to explain any of that to her. One, because I don't owe any of that. I don't owe a demonstration that, you know, what happened to me, like, didn't really ruin me because I've bounced back. I don't owe anyone that. And I'm not sure what it would really add. You know, like I said, I've made my peace on it. It's confronting to revisit it emotionally. It may always be, but I don't still walk around with those kinds of feelings. I'm not still thinking about them. I don't need a moment like this to find closure. I think closure is something that you can make on your own. And I just don't think that Harry is in that frame of mind. Like, we've not had the kind of time on the other side of learning to love yourself again and not commit to the idea that you're a failure that I've had. Like, he's had the time. Let's say it's been, you know, a number of years, maybe even more than a decade. But he's not had that transformation yet, unfortunately. You know, in another reality, maybe I would have taken a route similar to Harry, which is sort of like further descent into depression and worse. Because I definitely had that opportunity as well. And I just happened to have the right conditions and ability and support not to make it. I should have gone even deeper to a place where I never met you because it's impossible to meet people in the abyss of the void. Yeah.
Great. It's the abyss of the void. Soon it will be the gloaming, then it will be the world ending. My friends are waiting for me on the platform, Harry. It's impolite to...
Well, and something that's part of Harry's story is that it seems like he was a real difficult person. We don't know. We don't really know what their relationship was like, but we do know that she's had an easier time moving on than Harry has. And, you know, like I said, I don't still see my ex as like a villain who destroyed my life. Maybe I certainly started off there. But I also, I can see that she's still like polite to him. You know, she is, while it's true that she's saying, I don't have time to tend to your emotions, it's very different from what I heard, right? Mine was while we were still in a relationship, whereas Harry's hearing that when they aren't. It's really more appropriate for Dora to say that to him now.
What?
Say nothing. Just look at her.
She does not look back. Instead, eyes her fingernails. They're bitten, frayed. The evening wind blows in. The gown wraps around her like a white flag. 1,000 times you beat an animal. 1,000 times you've raised that fabric. What is underneath has always calmed you, centered you, made you sane.
You're the morning.
The morning? I don't understand.
No, I meant mourning. I'm grieving, but you're not even dead.
Oh my god, Harry, stop. I don't want to hear anything about the morning. Mourning someone who's still alive. Any of that. I can't do that anymore. I'm not 80 years old, I'm 32. People my age are not supposed to mourn.
She breathes out. It sounds more angry than a sigh.
This is a bit much for me. It feels like your ribs are cracking around your heart.
That's so hurtful.
Then why are we doing it?
Because he can't let go yet. On second thought, you're Dolores Day, Queen Regnant of the territories of Mundi and Insulindi, and nothing else.
Yes, Harry. I am. Things have gotten much better for me, now that I am the ruler of the known world. Oh god, it's already so late. I have to go, Harry.
Oh man, and like the perception he has that like she's not just doing better, she's like literally the queen of the world. The writing is so good, like to position this metaphoric parallel for Harry.
A tiny golden watch with red straps around her bony little wrists.
She said I have a vast soul and you always come back to it.
We both said a lot of things. We were very young.
It was her. I can feel it. I can see it in her tender, long fingers, in her wrists. Her hand wrote it, said those things.
I'm torn on what is the appropriate kind of reflection to have for Harry at this point. Part of me wonders if he would still be having this very hard time letting go of Dora this long after the end of their relationship, and that he would still be in the kind of mindset that he could like make things work and turn them around. But you know what? I'm gonna be selfish here, and I'm gonna play this out closer to how I feel. Like I said, if I had been given the opportunity to, meet this person that I once had a very strong connection to, I wouldn't lean into it hoping to restart it. I wouldn't look at it as something to, lord my repaired life in front of and say, see, you didn't really destroy me. Look how strong I am. I wouldn't do that either, but I think I'm just okay, like, with it being done as well. But, like, I have the strong feeling now that, like, it doesn't matter anymore. Like, that was so long ago in my life. And this is actually really strange that this is happening now, because May 1st was the day that phone call took place, where she didn't have time for my emotions. And every year that like feeling, comes up, reminds me of that. And I have to do a lot of self-reflection around it. And that's taken place for 3 years. I, would sort of need to process and reflect on, have I done enough to really change my life and find closure and that sort of thing? And I can actually say, like, I forgot this time. I forgot, like, this May 1st. I remembered a couple of days ago that, like, hey, this period of time is usually when I, like, think on that stuff and try to, take inventory of the life that I've rebuilt. And I actually forgot to do it. And to me, that is, like, I think it's a sign of something good. It means I really, I don't need, like, to still invest time, my present life's time, in reflecting on that. And that single person, event, chapter, whatever, is not still defining to everything else that I'm doing like it used to be. It used to be that every May 1st I'd think about it and say, okay, here's all the things in my life that I have that I'm doing that are points of repair from that. And I just don't consider them that anymore. It's just the life I have. And so, like, I am going to be selfish and position Harry as having done some of that work now, because I think we actually have. I think that, like, driving our Kanema into the river was maybe our last act of avoidance and insecurity around this thing. But especially after the last episode, when we've seen, like, how much we've done to repair ourselves and people's lives, I'm going to play this out as if Harry has made his peace with it. It doesn't matter anymore.
We will always have what was. I will always be influenced by it. But it is over. Now only total, unrelenting hell remains.
And I wish there was an option here that wasn't, like, something vengeful, like you're not human or you're a mass murderer, or trying to lean into this and make it better. Is there, like, a I'm okay with you leaving option?
I have to, Harry. Really, I've already missed the 8:30. I'm gonna go now.
I was wrong. You don't have power over her anymore. You shouldn't have said that. I am wrong about everything. You should go on without me.
Okay. I understand. I'm okay with you going. I like who I am enough and the life that I have without you in it. I like it better than the life that I would have had with you, even if things had worked out.
No, you don't. You're just being a martyr. And I'm really going now. The time is up. I must be on the 10:20 flight.
She turns. Will we ever see each other again?
I won't see you, but you will see me.
How can that be?
Oh, Harry. This is a dream. Can't you see? I'm already in Morova by now. Who knows how long ago this happened? A year? 2? 5 years ago?
It's kind of strange, actually. Yeah, last time I saw her was in an airport, too. This is too real.
Right here, tomorrow night. Once this dream starts happening, it keeps happening. 3 times a week, at least. And Harry, it really, really looks like it started happening again. There's the video rental. I'm suffocatingly beautiful. And young. And I smell of tutti frutti chewing gum. Like I did that time when I asked you for forgiveness. After leaving you the first time. So long ago.
I like this.
Oh yes, this is real darkness. It's not death or war or child molestation. Real darkness has love for a face. The first death is in the heart, Harry. See you tomorrow.
We're gonna be fine, Harry. I'm fine. Better than that, even. And you will be too. You will be too.
You're up quick. How was your sleep?
Let's solve the fucking case.
Are you sure you're okay? You thrashed around and you bolted up, half covered in blood from your wound.
Just spit out the blood and get back to work.
He's still worried. You must have really thrashed and squealed in your sleep.
You'll get through it, Harry. I did, and you will too. That's where we're going to end it today, folks. In a weird way, this is maybe a better way of reflecting on, this yearly memory of mine than what I normally do. Because, yeah, it's clear that I still have some, emotional damage to, hearing those words. I don't have time for you, for this, whatever. But I don't feel them really about, that person or even myself. It's just painful to hear that. But like I said, I don't need that anymore. I don't need someone to tend to that. I've sort of figured out how to do that. Or to ask for help for it if I need to. And with that, yeah, I'm with Harry. Let's solve the fucking case. And let's get some closure. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.